And welcome to your messages for the week. Today is Sunday, the 15th of January, 2023. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Deborah Jane Sutton, and you can find out more about me and the things that I do, things that I share, passions that I have from this YouTube channel, also from my website at deborahjanesutton.com, and also from my Facebook page, Deborah Jane Sutton. If you're local in the Pago Alicante area, you can also check out the Garden Retreat pago.com for local activities and events and workshops and all things that are going to help you raise your frequency, which is what we're doing here, right? So welcome back, or welcome if it's for the first time, to some messages that hopefully are going to raise our frequency. So let's see what's coming up this week. As is the case, I don't look at that one, just flew out. You can't really see them. I should actually have, I have been told I need to have a camera on the birds, but you know, alternatively, you can just trust me. They're like jumping out or poking out, or that second one jumped out. So yes, any other messages, any heads up, any guidance, anything that we need to know to help us navigate this coming week. So we're well into January now. If you haven't already seen the messages for the month of January, I will put a link in the description and video in the end screen, so you can take a look at those. And this is interesting because 6 cards have come out, and we had that last week. And we also had this idea that if I put the second 3 under the first 3, they kind of clarify the one above. So let's see if that's what's happening. If it isn't, doesn't matter, right? But there are so many changes going on. We need to tap into it all. We need to be open. That's something else that came to me this week. Ask and you will be given. So I'm hearing a lot of people saying, as it's January, I'm hearing a lot of people saying, I wonder what this year will bring. And things like, I hope this year will be better than last year. Or I hope this year has some good stuff coming. My answer to all these people is, what do you want 2023 to bring you? What do you want it to bring you? And how can you make it better than last year? It's up to you. You know, it's not up to the number of the year. The year is 2023. And yes, okay, there's astrology. We know that, and we know the power of astrology. And I'm not dissing that at all. In fact, I want to talk about astrology today. Hopefully later it will come up. But yes, if you say, I wonder what the universe has in store for me this year, you know, you're giving your power away, and you're also not understanding that you are the creator. You are the creator being. You are made of divine love, light, source. You are made of the same energy as the universe, which is God, if you want to use that word. Creator, source. Let's use the word source, because source as in the source of all, the source of the all that is, the source of all energy. We know that we live in an energetic universe. We know that if we want to know the secrets of that universe, we need to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, because Nikola Tesla told us that. We know that the universe is governed by frequency. We know that like attracts like. We know all of this stuff. We just need to get our heads around the fact that it really happens, and that's the case. And also the Rumi quote, and I know I say this all the time, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's so relevant. The Rumi quote that says, you're not just a drop in the ocean, you're the whole ocean in one drop. What he means when he says that, or my interpretation at least, is that you are not just a human being in the universe. You are the whole universe in one human being. Now, we don't need to really understand this in order to use it, because we can drive a car without being a car mechanic. We can switch a light on without being an electrician. Okay, we can do all of these things. So let's just use that gift that is energy, and that those principles, those universal principles. Okay, let's use them for our benefit. Like driving a car for our benefit. We don't have to know how and why it works. We just need to have faith and trust that it works. Like when you get in your car, hopefully, you trust that it's going to start. When you flick the light switch, you trust that the light's going to come on. Let's do that, shall we, for 2023? And let's just trust if we don't understand. If you're a quantum physicist and you understand the ins and outs, then fantastic. Then share it with others, please, because when you understand it, I'm sure it will be even more powerful. But until we are all quantum physicists, let's just trust that these things are the case. So you are the whole universe in one human being. Everything outside of you is a reflection of the energy within you, and you are everything. So first of all, let's get out of denial. Let's get out of denial about the fact that we have been the perpetrator as much as we've been the victim. This is coming up a lot. And we're looking at the global situation, pointing fingers at other people, saying life has to change, systems have to change, the world has to change, governments have to change. You are the one that has to change. If you want to see the change in the outside world, okay? Because the outside world is a reflection of you. Now, if you are triggered by things happening in the outside world, so if the systems and the government and whatever else is going on in the outside world, okay, whatever's down the rabbit hole, if all those things are triggering you, you need to take responsibility for that energy, that emotional energy that's coming up with that trigger, because you're not going to want to hear this. Disclaimer here. Switch it off if you don't want to hear it. It's not a problem. But the outside world is created from the frequency of what's within us. If we have a frequency of fear, if we have a frequency of manipulation or control or anything like that going on any level in any of our lifetimes, or inherited energy from any of our ancestors, either of our parents, if we have that energy, let's not be in denial about having that energy. We have 50 trillion, in fact, some people say 70 trillion cells, and we're carrying a lot of heavy energy and density, and we are healing the planet for the collective. So let's not be in denial about the energy that we have within us that has been, I want to say, unconscious. It's energy, whether it be emotional energy, whether it be that fear, that anger, the guilt, the shame. Okay, all of those are contracting emotions which are not true, because we are true love and light. Okay, and we're carrying them within us. We're also carrying all sorts of baggage from other lifetimes when we have not behaved consciously. Okay, and we're not judging, right? It's only an issue if you judge it. If you don't judge anything, this is the big spiritual lesson, isn't it? Not judging others and not judging ourselves. Because the forgiveness is a big one, right? We know that. I'll put a link in the description, video in the end screen, to the path to forgiveness. I'll also put the video in the description and the video in the end screen to understanding triggers, because they kind of follow on from each other. Because once you realize that the person that is causing the trigger is actually created by you. You created the reality. You created it from what's within you. Take responsibility for that. As my friend and mentor, Liz Nagle, would say, and if you don't know Liz, have a look at my YouTube channel where you will find I have a whole series called Self-Mastery with Liz Nagle. But as she would call it, radical responsibility. All right. And the reason it's radical responsibility is because, most people don't want to take responsibility. But the good thing about taking radical responsibility for all the shit that you've done in other lifetimes and everything else is the fact that it empowers you to understand that you are creating your reality. So therefore, you can behave more consciously now. You don't need to feel guilt and shame or anything like that, because you are just a soul experiencing source. You are source experiencing itself as an individuated soul, okay? Not individual, right? Because we're all connected, but you are source energy choosing to experience itself, okay, as an individuated soul. And you are here to enjoy the path of evolution. the ascension path. And we learn through our unconscious behaviors, and we learn through the adversity that other people's unconscious behaviors towards us. So they create our adversity by behaving unconsciously towards us. That's all the trauma. You're holding that into the cells of your body as trauma. And these people, I'm not going to forgive them. Hey, right, okay. But we created all of it. We even chose our adversity in order to wake us up, because we do wake up. Adversity is a springboard to enlightenment. And it's not only other people's unconscious behavior that wakes us up, it's our own unconscious behavior that wakes us up. So when we look back at some of the unpleasant things we've done, rather than ignoring the guilt and the shame, the anger, the despair, all of this, rather than ignoring it, we need to own it, because we're not judging anything. It's like, hey, I'm an individuated soul and I am creating and I'm learning through the mistakes. You can look at it that way. I don't see it as mistakes. I see it through unconscious behavior and more conscious behavior. It depends on the scale. Where on the scale is your behavior? Okay. When are you in alignment with your unconditional love, your divine self? But we're so caught up in the ego, wanting to be right rather than wanting to be kind. We're so caught up in the pride of it all. We're so caught up in the identity of the human. And our humans are just a part. Our humans are our vessel for expressing ourselves. And I want to say our humans are our vessel for learning. It's like we're on a learning journey, and this because you look back on your own life and you can see how you're behaving more consciously, aren't you? But still we're behaving unconsciously if we have a perception of separation. And I think we all have that to some degree, don't we? Well, that's still unconscious behavior. That's still unconscious thinking, isn't it? On some level. All of this stuff works on some level, doesn't it? So the point is, I haven't even turned the cards over. The point is that forgiving other people, that's a classic, that's a basic now, right? Forgiving yourself because you actually co-created all of that. But then when you realize that you just co-created it for your own benefit to create on your path and to learn and to evolve, then you realize that you don't need to forgive anybody. You just need to observe it all as experiences. And you're learning that they are less pleasant experiences, and you get to choose which experiences you want to take forward with you. So by being more conscious in your behavior, in your actions, in your words, in your practices, okay, you can create what you want to create, and we can create a more conscious community together. Okay, but we don't need to judge ourselves or the other people in our lives that did us a massive favor at creating our adversity for us. We don't need to judge our parents or anyone else that we've inherited unconscious stuff from. We don't need to do that. How's that going to help anyone? It's just a process. It's just a process of creation. So we don't need to judge anybody or anything as right or wrong. And what's going on in the world is a reflection of each and every one of us. So when we stop judging ourselves, we can stop judging what's going on in the outside world, because when we stop judging it, we are no longer triggered by it. And I started by saying, if what in the outside world, if it's triggering you, then you have inner work to be done. If you can observe adversity in all its forms without being triggered, and then instead open your heart with love and compassion to those on the receiving end of the adversity and to those on the giving end of adversity. Just open your heart, because the givers of adversity are just following a process. They're learning at the level that they're at, as you did when you were at that level. And I've seen it in past lives, right? In when I do the past life healings, right? So let's get out of denial. Let's get out of judgment. Let's get out of we're right, they're wrong. Let's get out of all of that duality. There is no right and wrong. There is no good and bad. There is just creation. There is just creation that flows through you. And the quality of your creations is going to depend on how conscious your thoughts are, your beliefs are, your emotions are, your words, your actions. Okay? That's what is creating 2023. Not just what's going to happen. I'm a victim. I have no control over it. You have all the control over it. Go forward into 2023 with love in your hearts, unconditional love for everyone, yourself included, of course. There is only you creating your reality. The more you can love yourself, the more loving world we're going to be living in. Oh my goodness me. Do we need to do the cards now? I'll do the cards now. Because that happened once before when I started talking and then I didn't do the cards, but then I went back and did them. So let's have a quick look and see if the cards are going to say King of Thinking. Okay, there's a transformation. Okay, it's thinking. The 7 Hermetic Principles. Really, I recommend you do it. I'm not going to pick one particular video for you to watch, although I have been listening to the book called The Kybalion, written in 1908. On the 7 Hermetic Principles. It's kind of a very deep one, but there's lots of information on YouTube. If you just put in the 7 Hermetic Principles, and then you can get a gist of it. Okay, if you just want to get a little introduction to it, and then if you get like inspired, then go and watch the big full-length audio books on the subject. But the first principle is the principle of mentalism. He is the king of mentalism. Swords is mental processes. And the butterfly symbolizes a transformation that comes through your thought. It's conscious thought, conscious thinking. He is the conscious thinker, okay? Because he's the king of thoughts. So he understands that the universe is mental and it's created through our consciousness, which is our thoughts, our beliefs. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. There's a bit of study, 3 of Pentacles. This is collaborating with other people. Definitely a good idea. Just even if you're just sharing ideas with each other, you learn from each other, don't you? You're having that sounding board. So important. But this is a study card. It's about being rewarded for your efforts, which is lovely. But for me, it's definitely a study card. And I've literally just said the 7 Hermetic Principles. So I really do think, or something like that, something about maybe Nikola Tesla's work. I don't want to tell you what to do. I want you to follow your own inspiration. Okay. But definitely there's a point here, a message here about understanding how you create your reality. You might be a newcomer to the channel, and if you're still here, well done. In which case, I want to suggest that you check out my Lessons in Awakening, because I think they're bite-sized little videos that will just ease you into the energy of everything and the fact that you're an energy being. Okay, and then you can progress from that and go to wherever your inspiration takes you. But definitely, this is about studying on some level. The fact that it came up on the heels of this one, and we were talking about the Hermetic Principles and mentalism and like attracts like, and everything is energy and all of those. So I'll put a link in the description to my to the series I have on Lessons in Awakening. It includes the understanding triggers and the path to forgiveness and loads of other videos as well. So that's interesting. Let's have a look. Destiny. It's our destiny to find this out. This is a major arcana card. And actually, I knew this was coming up this week. Because this is going to be quite a long video now, I'm afraid, but never mind. I'm not afraid. I'm just going with the flow, as you could probably tell. So this is the Wheel of Fortune. It's about understanding who you are and what you came here to do. Obviously, the soul profile is part of that. I do include the soul profile. Well, I include the dominant energy centers, which is, in my opinion, the most important part of the soul profile. I include it in my energy readings and my card readings now as well. So that might be something you'd be interested in. I'll put a link in the description to that. But also, I look at this chart as being like the birth chart. And I did want to talk about the birth chart, and I mentioned astrology earlier on. And I think I did say, didn't I? We'll talk about that later on. I think it's coming up. So this is kind of interesting. This is progress for me, or like some kind of development, is that I kind of get downloads and messages as to what we're going to be talking about once I click record. So what I want to say about astrology, it's just it's so relevant. I really think it is. And I was just reflecting on my own life. And it came to me how one of the reasons that the garden retreat has just fallen into place is because it's actually allowing me to express myself through my North Node. Okay, now those of you that are astrologers, you're going to know what I'm talking about, right? But for those of you that don't, and I'm not an astrologer, right? But it's important to study, I think, some level of astrology because our South Node, which is opposite the North Node, is on our birth chart, okay? It will be in a house and in a zodiac sign. Now, like tarot, astrology, zodiac signs, and the 12 houses in astrology, all of their energies. Okay, we try and put words on it. This is why the best birth chart readers are intuitive, because, and the same with tarot card readers, I think, because it's there are energies, and we're trying to put words onto those energies. And whereas, like with the soul profile that I do, I take the two most dominant energy centers and I look at how they work together, right, to give you your uniqueness, right? It's the same with astrology. So you could have, let's say, a South Node in Sagittarius or whatever, and it could be in whatever house. It's the energy of Sagittarius combined with the energy of that house and how they work together. Because Sagittarian's going to have a certain energy, right? So you can think, oh, everyone that's Sagittarius is going to have that energy, right? That not everyone's the same. Not everyone in that zodiac sign is the same. Well, of course not, because it depends how everything else works with it. So as far as the North and South Node goes, you know, it's the energy of the house, including working with the energy of that zodiac sign that gives it its uniqueness. Okay. And the South Node is where we have come from. It's where we feel comfortable. It's like our comfort zone. We can relate to it. We've probably spent many lifetimes carrying out that kind of energy, living that kind of energy. Okay. And for mine, it's a very, my South Node is a very kind of me energy, right? Which I could really relate to. And then I got my YouTube channel going, which is very me expressing me, da 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 da. This is not a bad thing. There's no judgment going on here, right? She said, because she nearly judged herself. But the North Node will be in the opposite zodiac sign and in the opposite house. And the North Node is where your soul has chosen to experience and expand. I want to use the word expand, to experience and expand itself in this lifetime. And it's going to be opposite to what you're used to. So we are meant to leave our comfort zones. We are meant to take leaps of faith. And it was interesting because when I first looked at this on my own chart, it was around the time that I started interviewing Liz Nagle, who I've already mentioned. Check her out, Self Mastery with Liz Nagle on my YouTube channel. I started interviewing her and promoting her wisdom because I live by that wisdom. It's helped me so much, right? Along with the wisdom of the council from Sara, Landon. I'll put a link into that as well. So I thought to myself, this is me stepping into my North Node, because my North Node is about promoting other people. See, my South Node is about being the center of attention and doing things on my own. And my North Node is about putting other people in the limelight and putting attention on other people and boosting other people in some way. So it started with that series. And I did this subconsciously. I wasn't thinking, oh, this is my North Node, I will do this. It didn't work like that. I was inspired to do it. And then I found out it was my North Node, which is why it brought me so much joy. This is why I'm sharing this with you. Because when your inspiration will probably be in alignment with your North Node, which is why it's inspiring you, because that's how it works. But it's just like the soul profile, like tarot cards. Astrology just confirms stuff that our inner guidance already knows. But it is lovely to have that confirmation. That's what most people say with the readings I do. It's like, I don't tell anyone anything they don't already know on some level, because your higher self knows it all, right? But our humans are just like, oh, can I do that? Can I step out of my comfort zone? Can I take that leap of faith? We know we have to, but sometimes we need an energetic kick up the backside. And I think that's sometimes what my readings do for people. But I did that series with Liz and then realized, oh my God, that's why it felt so good, because I'm, giving the attention to somebody else. But now with the garden retreat, what I'm finding, although I'm doing my own workshops and I'm really excited this weekend because I've got my first in-person emotion code workshop after 3 years. I haven't done them in person. I've been doing them online, of course, but my first in-person one for 3 years. So I'm obviously doing my own yoga workshops and self-healing techniques workshops and whatever else comes to me through inspiration. But what I'm really finding joy in is meeting, because I'm meeting such passionate people they're passionate about what they do, and whatever they're doing, if it's to do with health and healing and raising frequency, then I want to promote them, and I'm just feeling so excited about it. And so I'm just promoting different people and having them to the garden retreat to share their gifts, to share their passions. And it's working really well. I'm absolutely loving it. And it's really taking off. And I know that the reason it's taking off is because it's me stepping further into my North Node, because my North Node is about now helping other people step into the limelight, helping other people be the center of attention, promoting other people's passions, passing it over, that other people have knowledge and ideas. It's very important when we're creating this heaven on earth. We need to raise our frequency, of course, but there's so much knowledge that we need to know that we should have been taught in schools. But that we're inspired to learn about basically living life and all sorts of things, right? So now I'm understanding when you step into your North Node and what your North Node wants to do for you, right? Or where it wants to take you, I should say, everything is going to fall into place and you're going to feel inspired and you're going to just feel so passionate about it. And it's going to come easily. That's the bit I want to say. It's going to come easily because it's your destiny. And when you're stepping into who you really are and you're stepping into what you came here to do, and when you do that, life is just a dream. Literally, life is not meant to be a struggle. If you're struggling in any way whatsoever, it's a sign that you're pushing energy where it doesn't want to go. Let go of pushing that energy where it doesn't want to go, because the right people and the right situations will come. The right inspiration will come. And you don't have to do anything, but you do have to ask and you will receive. Now, I think this comes back to, and I mentioned this last year, the affirmation that I was repeating, which is, I am ready and willing to fulfill my full potential. It is powerful. I am ready and willing to fulfill my full potential. That's all you need to say. And then the universe will open up what your full potential is, because it's in your birth chart, it's in your destiny. You may not know it. So I do suggest that you get a birth chart done, get a soul profile reading done with me, of course, but also get a birth chart done. Now you can Google anywhere, right, to find a birth chart reader in your area. I am going to put 2 links in the description to the 2 people that have read my birth chart. They both speak fluent English and they both work online. So, but really feel into your heart where you want to go to have your reading done, to find out where your North Node is. Or this is stuff that you can study yourself, because it has come on the heels of this card, which is a study card. So in fact, you don't really need to go to somebody else either. For the North Node stuff, I actually taught myself. And you can download, there's lots of websites. Download a free birth chart. Just put it in and you can download a free birth chart. If you have your time of birth It's quite difficult to find the nodes if you haven't got your time of birth. I think you can find the zodiac sign, but maybe not the house. But anyway, to download your birth chart, the node is this one that goes like a little, you know, the hook and eyes that we used to have on, like to hook things, you know, fasteners, right? It's the eye part. It looks like that. I think it looks like that anyway. But you can always Google all of that. Then once you found out which zodiac sign and which house it's in, okay, find out which one your south is in, but which one your north is in, because the south will just be the opposite. Okay, so once you know your north, you know your south because it's the opposite one. You can go to, and I made a note of this, so I kind of knew this was coming up on some level. There, you can look it up on YouTube, but there is a woman called her YouTube channel is called Svetlana's World. I'll put a link into her YouTube channel as well, Svetlana's World, because she has done a video on every single combination. Okay, so my North Node by Gemini in the second house, right? She's done videos on Gemini in the first house, Gemini in the third house, Gemini in the fourth, and then, you know, all the other zodiac signs in all of the houses. So you can imagine how many videos she's got. But I listened to the ones for my North Node. And for me personally, it was just fantastic. It just gave me so much guidance. So there's another like thing that you can get on to do, right? You don't have to spend money on it. If you want to have your chart read, there are people that will read it for you. If you don't want to, then you can check it all out. There is so much information out there. The only thing needed is your inspiration and to ask, and it will be given. So once you have that information about your North Node, then you say, I'm ready and willing to fulfill my full potential. And I think I mentioned it before. You might want to add on the end with ease and grace, because it was me affirming and confirming that affirmation that gave me the Tower card moment at the beginning of last year, which worked out to be the biggest blessing ever, as Tower cards always are, but you don't know it at the time, do you? So if you're up for an energetic ride and a Tower card moment, then you can leave the ease and grace off and just go head first into whatever it is you're meant to be doing. But I am ready and willing to allow my full potential. Will open you up, and it gives the higher realms permission to help you. That is the point. Whereas if you're sitting there going, I wonder what the new year will bring, you're not taking control. You're not taking your power. You're not stepping into your power. You're just like, oh, I wonder what's going to just come, and, you know, without you actually grabbing hold of the reins. Okay. Now, the guidance is going to come from above, obviously. But where does that guidance come from? Let's not get into that. Otherwise, this video will never never stop, and I've only done 3 cards, so I'll get on. But the point being that ask and you will be given. So I'm ready and willing to allow my full potential. Open yourself up, get some information, right? Because, you know, knowledge is power. Okay, so that you know roughly what direction you're going in, and then you'll probably go, oh my goodness me, I was inspired to do that anyway. So there's your confirmation that you're going in the right direction. Okay, my goodness me. If it does relate. So now we've got the Knight of Swords. Look how quickly the horse, look how excited I am. Horses are positive movement forward. You cannot go faster than that. This is what 2023 is going to bring you when you get yourself into alignment with who you really are and what you came here to do. It couldn't be clearer, could it? Look how fast you go forward, okay? When you understand that you choose your thoughts. This is the inspiration. He's absolutely galloping away, okay? So he's grabbed the inspiration. He's understanding that his thoughts are creating everything. He's studying so that he understands how the car works, right? Just because we're not car mechanics doesn't mean we don't learn about the cars, right? We learn to put oil in, we learn how to pump up the tires, we learn to do all sorts of things, right? That we wouldn't normally do because we want to look after the car. Agreed? This is what this card is saying. Understand how your energy works. You know, it could be on a physical level, it could be on an emotional level, it could be on a mental level, it could be on a spiritual level. It's all energy, and you are multidimensional. Okay, so just understanding that, learning that, finding out the bigger picture, behind what are you doing here? What's the meaning of your life? What did you come here to do? What did you come here to experience? There's never a more important time. And how 2023 pans out for you is going to be so dependent on this. Okay. And that's how quickly we're going to go ahead. There's your justice card. You reap what you sow. Oh my goodness me. I absolutely love these cards now. There's the justice card. You reap what you sow. I have said to so many people when they have said, I wonder what 2023 is going to bring. I have responded with, what do you want it to bring? What do you want it to bring? You know? Oh, well, I hope 2023 brings good things. Well, have you planted good things? Have you started thinking good things? Have you started believing good things? Have you started feeling good things? Have you started being grateful for the good things in your life? Because that's how you're going to bring that all into 2023. It's got nothing to do with the number, everything to do with your energy. You reap what you sow. It's the justice, it's the karma card. Okay. And if shit hits the fan, that's karma. Okay. On some level, you got to accept it and move on. And it might be unpleasant. And it's okay. You're human. You can hold space for your human. That was one of the biggest transformations in my own life, was when I understood that Deborah, although she is wonderful and lovely and I love her, she is just the human vessel that I have chosen to experience and express life through in this lifetime. It's like she is the instrument that I play my music through, you know? And I have been so many people and so many things, and so have you. We are so connected more than you realize. But when you understand that you're human, it's like you're a little child, you know? And we do hang on to so much of our inner child and inner younger person and all of that. So my higher self holds space for Deborah. And when she wants to express emotions that are, hurting her and she's feeling them, she doesn't want to suppress them. So maybe she wants to cry. Maybe she wants to wail. Maybe she wants to be angry. Maybe she wants to be annoyed and irritated. Maybe she wants to sulk. She does that sometimes, and I hold space for her with an open heart of love and compassion, like you would for a toddler. If a toddler's having a little toddler tantrum, you would hold space for them, make sure they're safe, make sure they know they're loved, let them get it out of their system, let them process it. Because we came here for a healing experience. We came here for a feeling experience. Let yourself do that without judgment. When you understand that you are your higher self, it makes such a big difference. And the last card is the Hanged Man. And that's exactly what he's doing. That's why he's so chilled. He's so chilled. He's holding space for everything and everyone. This is spiritual guidance. The message with this card is don't force action. It doesn't mean do nothing. It means don't force action. If you're feeling like something's a struggle, if you're pushing energy up a hill that it doesn't want to go up, why would you do that? Because when you open up to your own divinity, the energy is there and there's an abundance of it and it flows through you. And it creates through you without you having to think, without you having to plan, without you having to do anything except just follow the joy. And the people will come and you hug them and you're like, yes, let's do that. And it happens. And it happens easily. Okay. And then you meet somebody else. And then you meet someone else and it all falls into place and you think it's like synchronicities. And it is. But it's beautiful because that's the way your higher self works. But he's got out of the way. You've got to get out of your own way. Look, he's got out of his own way. The Hanged Man, it doesn't sound nice, the Hanged Man, but he's literally hanging upside down, looking at life from a different perspective. There are no struggles. There don't have to be struggles. If you're struggling, just stop what you're doing. It's the universe telling you you're not meant to be doing it. Go and do something that you feel inspired to do. So when he does take action, it comes through him choicelessly and effortlessly, joyfully. You see what I'm saying? Get yourself on this wavelength, and then 2023 is going to be everything you want it to be and more. 2023 is going to be everything you want it to be and more. I think I've gone on a very long time, so I am going to stop it there. I've got no idea. It doesn't tell me on my screen anywhere. Well, I know I've gone on a long time, but that obviously was a load of stuff that needed to come out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If anyone has made it to the end, and if you haven't, it's fine. I've got it out of me and expressed it, and I'm going to go on and promote some other people now. Well, I have done. Look in the description below. Lots of promotions going on there. Okay, so hopefully you'll keep in touch through various social media channels. Get in touch if you want your own private reading and your own energetic kick up the backside. Lots of love to you. Have a fantastic week. Love you all. Bye for now.